the WIAA Girls Basketball State Tournament Bracket Reveal Show. We're over halfway through revealing the matchups for the playoffs. We're turning our attention now to Division 4. It promises to be an exciting one. Tipping off with Sectional 1, Shell Lake, members of the Lakeland West Conference, earning the #1 seed. They will wait to take on the winner of the 8-9 meeting between Grantsburg and Boyceville. The 5 seed is Clear Lake. They will meet 12-seeded Cumberland. The winner will face #4-seeded Colfax. On the other side, 3-seeded Fall Creek will wait to face the winner of the 6-11 matchup between 6-seeded Regis and 11-seed Unity. Mondovi, the 7th seed, taking on 10-seeded Glenwood City. The winner meets 2-seeded Durand, Arkansas. Moving to the other half of the sectional, the #1 seed is Cameron, members of the Hart North Conference. They will wait to face the winner of this 8-9 matchup between Hurley and Chautauqua Weyerhaeuser. In the 5-12 meeting, it's 5-seeded Ladysmith facing 12-seeded Chequamegon. And the winner of that meeting will face 4-seeded Phillips. On the other side, it's 3-seeded Marathon receiving the bye. They will wait to meet up against the winner of 6-seeded Cadott and 11-seeded Abbotsford. For the 7-10 matchup, it's Edgar against Colby. They will take on 2-seeded, the winner of that will take on 2-seeded McDonald Central Catholic. Another #1 seed goes to St. Mary Catholic. Members of the Big East North Conference, they will meet the winner of the 8-9 meeting between Coleman and Manawa. The #5 seed is Oconto, and they will face 12-seeded Shiocton. The winner will take on #4-seeded Crandon. On the other side, 3-seeded Auburndale receives the bye. They will face the winner of 6-seeded Crivets and 11-seeded Marion Tigerton. The 7th seed goes to Wiaa Fremont. They will take on 10-seeded Iola Scandinavia. The winner of that game takes on 2-seeded Bonduel. Another #1 seed is out. That's Manitowoc Lutheran, another team in the Big East North Conference. They will take on the winner of the 8-9 between Kohler and Howard's Grove. The 5 seed is Brilliant, going head-to-head with 12-seeded Southern Door. The winner will face 4-seeded St. Mary Springs. On the other side, it's 3-seeded Valders waiting to face the winner of 6-seeded Algoma and 11th-seeded Mishicot. The 7th seed goes to Cedar Grove, Belgium. They will take on 10-seeded Roncalli. The winner meets 2-seeded Kewanee. All right, let's talk about Manitowoc Lutheran and St. Mary Catholic. They split the regular season meetings. Norb, is there a potential for a rematch, and can you give a little preview of maybe what that could look like?
Yeah, I think there's definitely potential,
Okay.
them splitting games. I just got a chance to see Manitowoc Lutheran, and maybe that's where I maybe give the edge to St. Mary Catholic here,
Okay.
because I think they've been playing really good basketball and maybe played a few better teams as well, led by Emily Vogel. They also have a Hall of Fame coach there too, so that's going to help them out. But, I think Manitowoc Lutheran just needs to turn you over quite a bit in order to win that game.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't also sleep on Kewanee here either, because they haven't played maybe the same level of teams, but they're another Hall of Fame coach there, and they've won a lot of games, and you can't dismiss those teams.
All right, let's keep it going. Neillsville receives the #1 seed, the winners of the Clover Belt East Conference. They will take on the winner of the 8-9 meeting between Necedah and Spencer. In the 5-12 matchup, it's Luther, the 5 seed, taking on Osseo Fairchild. They will face the 4 seed, the winner of that, will face the 4 seed Stratford. On the other side, it's 3-seeded Bangor. They will wait to face the winner of 6-seeded Whitehall and 11th-seeded Nakusa. And then the 7th seed goes to Melrose Mindora. They will meet 10-seeded Augusta. The winner of that game will take on 2-seeded Aquinas. Cuba City receiving the #1 seed, members of the SWAL Conference. They will meet the winner of the 8-9 matchup between Riverdale and Parkview. The 5 seed is Lancaster taking on 12-seeded Iowa Grant. The winner meets 4-seeded Mineral Point. On the other side, the 3-seed Belleville, they'll wait to meet the winner of 6-seeded Darlington and 11-seeded Westby. New Glarus is the 7th seed. They will face 10-seeded Fenimore, and the winner of that game will meet 2-seeded Argyle Pecatonica. Let's talk more about Cuba City. They took home silver in last year's title game, falling to Laconia. What do you both like about Cuba City and their path this year, starting with you?
Well, Cuba City is a storied program.
Yeah.
They've won before, so they know what it takes to win. And you mentioned something key. Laconia is out the way.
Yeah.
So now I think that hunger is back. We want to get back up there. We want to win this thing.
Yeah, definitely. And, they play really good teams, too. And we talk about that injury bug, how it can sometimes maybe help you. Olivia Olson missed the first part of the season. She just returned from an ACL injury. And if she's at or near 100%, that team is going to be very tough to beat because they were right there with Laconia last year. And so they're definitely hungry to raise that gold ball this year for sure.
All right, excited to see what Cuba City can do. Now to a team that is familiar with the RESCH Center, Aquinas. The Blue Golds are 5th in Division IV standings, and our Scott Emmerich caught up with Aquinas head coach Dave Donarski.
Well, you never know it, but Aquinas actually lost 3 games way back in November, but they've been on an absolute tear since. Dave Donarski joining me right now. And Dave, what's been the difference? How has you seen your team grow throughout the year?
Yeah, I just think our leadership has really kind of taken, hold with our seniors, trying to get our kids rallied around it. And I was impressed with us, the way we had handled that adversity early on and just kind of trying to get better every day.
Tournament time is always special. What does it mean to you?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. It's a little bit nerve-wracking, but, you're getting ready for all these teams that you could see. And the kids are excited because there's really a buzz around the school as you get closer to the postseason. So, yeah, can't wait.
Aquinas has been to state 6 times in school history, all with this guy leading the way. Back to you.
Yeah, Prairie School should be mentioned at some point.
Yeah.
Well, rounding out Division IV with the final sectional, Partyville is the #1 seed. They will face the winner of the 8-9 meeting between Horicon and Marshall. 5-seeded Markesan will take on 12-seeded Waterloo, and the winner meets 4-seeded Lomira. On the other side, 3-seeded Westfield will meet the winner of 11-seeded Montello and 6-seeded Living Word Lutheran. The 7-10 meeting, that's Dodgeland and Random Lake. The winner takes on 2-seeded Poynette. The top seed goes to Prairie School. They will meet the winner of 8-seeded Heritage Christian and 9-seeded Clinton. The 5-seed is Salam and 4-seeded Abundant Life St. Ambrose. On the other side is 3-seed Cambridge and 6-seed Kenosha St. Joseph. As for the 7-10 matchup, University Lake School St. John's Northwest Academy. They take on 10-seeded Milwaukee Juneau, and the winner faces 2-seeded Deerfield. We've got one more division to go, the brackets for Division 5. Those are coming up next.